making it simple. Notice I didn't say anything about interest rate. I am just focused on what is your outcome. You made a decision to get in a house. And my favorite phrase is you marry the house, you date the mortgage.
Welcome to another edition of the Real Estate Mile High Real Estate Spotlight Podcast. And I'm Dr. B. I am your host. As we continue to do on a day-by-day basis, a week-by-week basis, we try to make sure that we are giving you the best information that is out there that will help you in your homeownership journey and figuring out what it is. And so whether we're interviewing real estate agents that are telling us about all the wonderful things they do in the houses that they have out there, whether we're talking about some of the lenders who have specialty programs that allow you to be able to take advantage, things you may not know about, things that might be out there that you go, wait a minute, that's possible? I can actually do that? Those are all fun things. And so today, I have a really special guest on today, Kobi Rex. Kobi Rex is from Bay Equities, and he's going to tell you about not only himself and the things he does, he's going to tell us all about what they got going and how they're making it work, and how they're, one of the things we were just talking about just a minute ago is, we have a whole lot of different, when you think of the scale of people that purchase homes or the scale of people who refinance homes, and what stage of life that we're in. And it's so different for everybody. Kobi, I don't know if you know this. I specialize in reverse mortgages, and that's where I spend most of my days, most of my time. So I'm very rarely talking to somebody who's under 62. Like every time that I do, it's like call my daughter up and say, you know what, you get to work with the younger folks. I'm going to stay. But for me, it's a whole different world, because I'm spending a whole bunch of time. Just to give you an example, when I talked to the lady today, we were talking about getting a document, and I was talking to her about, maybe taking some pictures of a document, not scanning a document, not using, she said, well, I don't know how to do that on my flip phone. And I'm like, I don't think I know how to take a picture on your flip phone either. Oh my gosh. Can you borrow your daughter's phone, please, so that you can take a picture and send it to me? Because when's the last time you've opened up a flip phone?
Oh my, I don't even know. 2002, maybe.
No, it's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And so I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, Kobi, because I don't want to waste all of our time. But that's kind of when I think about the generations where you probably go, somebody doesn't even really want to talk to you and tell you stories and tell you what happened with their cat and what happened with oh my gosh, one guy in Kansas, he has a whole farm, so he has horses. We're doing a reverse for him because he wants to make sure he can take care of his horses. But I know what kind of horses he has, how many horses he has, the grade of hay that those horses use, and all that kind of stuff. So I get the fun part of the story time. Whereas I think somebody maybe in your generation was like, we don't need to talk about, just tell me what you need me to do, click on it, and we go. So technology, Kobi, go for it. Tell us all about what's happening.
Well, Dr. B, thank you so much for having me on today. Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Kobi Rex, and I am a mortgage loan officer. So I am based out of here in Colorado. I'm here in Colorado Springs. So I do loans in Colorado, Texas, Illinois, and Florida. My company, Bay Equity Home Loans, is actually owned by Redfin. So a lot of what I do every day is I talk to people that go to redfin.com. A lot of these people, like you were saying, are the exact opposite of the reverse mortgage side. That it's not weird for me to pull somebody up with a birth date of 2002. And I think it really is interesting to just see people that are trying to get into home ownership that are really just wanting to start their journey online. The beginning of the journey is no longer going to the realtor. A lot of them are just going online and either going to Zillow, homes.com, or I like it when they go to Redfin.
There you go.
But that basically is what, for me, I really get excited about, helping people get into that first home. I do have a lot of move-up buyers. I'll have a lot of them that'll be moving from one state to either Texas or Florida. That it's kind of nice to be that belly button to help them to make that journey.
Yeah, that's so funny because a lot of mine go from here to Florida, Arizona, Texas, right? Because they're trying to downsize, they're trying to retire, they're trying to, it's so funny when we think about the difference. And so many people want to live here, but we don't have, like the last guy moved to, Arizona. He's like, I want to golf every day. I want, and I want to enjoy it. I want to get up and it to be warm. So he called me yesterday, and happy New Year's. It's 75 degrees here, and we're just enjoying this beautiful day. I'm like, oh yeah, I just went walking. It's 11 degrees.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's 11 degrees. We'll talk about some of the things that you guys are able to do for people. Like if somebody calls you that's young or doing, kind of walk me through some of the gyms that are happening over there at Bay Equity.
For sure. I appreciate you asking me that. So what we typically see when people come through is I make short little videos with my interns every week. That's like, I actually made this most recent one. It's a 45-second video. That's just like, hey, I'm so excited about getting into a home. What do I need? Is this going to hurt my credit? Do you have down payment assistance? Do you do first-time home buyer programs? Like it's the same conversation over and over again. And the answer is we have some of the best programs in the country with, it's called CHFA, Colorado Housing Finance Authority. So basically you've got like an FHA or a conventional loan where you can do as little as 3 or 3.5%. And being in the Springs too, we got a ton of VAs. So I'm actually a veteran as well. So I love doing VA, but I love doing a lot of conventional FHA. And down payment assistance is really kind of a cool tool because a lot of people think about that down payment, but closing costs kind of kill a lot of people too, because that's usually I'm seeing between 4,000 to 7,000. So what a CHFA does allows you to basically have a second mortgage, which allows you to get the help you need to get into the home, and you only have to pay it off when you refinance or sell the house. So basically you take that from, let's say, a $300,000 home, 9,000 plus 6,000 becomes 15,000. Use down payment assistance to get 4% assistance. We can take that down under 6,000 for that person, which for a lot of these people, that's a huge change because a lot of these first-time home buyers are dealing with, how do I even save $200 a month? So like for me, I had to get help from my house. I bought my first house and I basically had my parents, I was fortunate enough to have them gift me my whole down payment and closing costs. And I just feel like for me, it really is meeting borrowers where they're at. And a lot of them they need cosigners. They need help with that down payment. And I feel like it's just meeting them where they're at and making it where no question is a dumb question. And I feel like that's kind of what I like is that's a lot, you get to really be a consultative person for them and be their advocate instead of just being that, what's that rate? What's the rate? Oh, that guy's going to undercut you. I'm like, that's not really how CHFA works. It's the same rate, whatever company you go to.
Well, when you think, I know CHFA has a program where there's like a 25,000 if nobody in your whole lineage has ever had a home before.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been able to work with any families with that one yet? Or
I have not done that one yet. Typically for me, I'm doing what's called the silent second. So it's the 5% assist, and typically there's like a 1% funding fee that we have to deal with. So that's why I pretty much say 4% assist. So that's pretty much what I do. But yeah, there are really cool programs like the 25,000 as well.
Yeah. So I know when there's such a learning curve. People don't buy houses every week. They don't buy houses every month. They don't even buy houses every year. And especially if you've never done it before, you've never bought a house. And so the learning curve is kind of steep for a lot of people who are thinking about whether I should do it or not. They hear things, well, the rate is too high. They buy houses based on rate. Or they think they need to buy a house based on rate. Or they say, well, I don't know if I have enough down payment, or I don't know, what neighborhood I should be looking in, or, sometimes the real estate agents come to me and it's just, there's so many questions. How do you help people filter, especially young people, I guess, how do you help them filter those questions out to a point where they go, wait a minute, this is something I should do or could do?
I love that question. So for me, I actually have this process that I've created called the Peaceful Purchase Pathway. And for me, it really is it's really just 3 legs of a stool. you need credit, you need income, you need assets. So what I try to focus on is making it simple. Notice I didn't say anything about interest rate. I didn't say anything about looking. I am just focused on what is your outcome. You made a decision to get in a house. And my favorite phrase is you marry the house, you date the mortgage. And if they really are that worried about it, we can refinance down the line. But that's really what I try to focus on with these younger buyers or even newer buyers. I have older buyers too, that is their first house. But it really is about, I kind of tell a lot of people, if you're really looking for just the lowest rate, like you're probably going to go to 1-800 whatever and just try to get somebody. You're not going to know your processing experience. It's going to be a little bit crazy. But for me, it really is about walking them through the process. I have the system called Mortgage Coach, which really is one of the coolest things where basically you're doing, it's all about showing. I feel like a lot of times people just want to go with their drinking buddies and talk about, oh, what was your rate? Versus for me, it's about how do we create that middle word, peace in the process? Because you already got to worry about moving. You got to worry about finances. It's just, for me, it comes down to how do we answer the question of getting you in the home? And for me, it really just doesn't come up as much about the rate and all these other things, because it's just, a lot of people just, they don't want to feel like they're dumb, and they want to have somebody that can give them those answers. And that's really the approach that I try to take.
I like that. And, when I think about, the questions people typically ask, they ask the question that they think I guess they've been taught to ask, but they don't understand the answer anyways, because otherwise they probably wouldn't ask the question. So when somebody comes to me and I know that they really don't know the question to ask, is when they say, what's the rate today? And I want to say back to them, the rate for who? The rate for you? Because if you know that and you're around long enough, then that is the actual question. What they're really asking is, can you hold my hand? Can you take me through this? And can you get me the best possible deal that you can for today? And even if they go online and they type, what's the rate? They can't even get a straight answer there, because it is exactly different for every single person who goes into this to get a mortgage. I don't know if any two same people that I've ever done have the exact same rate based on the time they close and based on the things that they do, and based on, they definitely don't have the same payment, right? Because they're all got different, amounts of money that they're borrowing based on how much they put down, so is that something that if somebody comes to you and says, Kobi, what's the rate today? How do you walk them through understanding the right question and then how you can help them?
That's a great question. And I actually had this, I was in the line I'm kind of old because I'm trying to do some business. I was on the line at the bank. And when I was at the line at the bank, I had a lead come in. I called the lead.
You went to the bank?
I went to the bank. Yes. I needed to be auditable. So I had to go get checks and stuff, whatever those are. Yeah. So what ended up happening was that they're like, hey, I just want to know the rate. And I'm like, great. I want to tell you that rate. The best way I can do that is I need you to fill out an application. And then if they really press me, I'm like, they didn't even press me. They're like, okay, that makes sense. And then they just fill out the application. And then I found out that they needed credit repair. And then I found out this. And it's just, I feel like that's, for me, I don't try to be like, oh, the rate doesn't matter. I'm like, hey, you said it so great earlier. It's, hey, for what situation? Like, I had a guy today that he sent me the text, hey, what's the rate range? And I'm like, okay, you have a 700 credit score. If you go FHA, you could go really well. Your rate's going to look like this. If you go conventional, that's not necessarily going to be as favorable. And it's just, I feel like it's a lot of people want to feel like they're not just being forced into a specific, that's your label. This is what you are, versus no, these are some options. You can choose from them. And there are people, that's the thing. I don't want to make it puppy dogs and rainbows. There are people that ultimately are just hardline, want to feel like they're going to go get the best rate and they're just going to fight. And that's, if I just hear that, it's so nice to just sometimes just got to let them go. And I'm not going to be the perfect lender for everybody.
And sometimes just so you guys are watching, sometimes the lowest rate might be the most expensive rate for you, because there's all kinds of things we can do, to help you. But if we can't figure out what your situation is and figure out what you're trying to accomplish, then a big thing would be like, how long are you want to have this house? Is this something that you're going to move into this week, and then within a year you're going to sell it? Or are you going to live for, say this is your dream home, your final home, your, forever home? And even then, and you've been doing this a while, Kobi. So like, how many people do you know in all the sphere of people that you've been doing this with that has kept an actual loan for 30 years?
I could count them on two hands, maybe.
Okay. And I started doing these in the 2000s, and then 2008 happened, and I came back later, because I've been around a long while, but I literally on one hand, somebody who's actually had the exact same loan that they had when they started, without refinancing once, without changing something up at some point, without moving to a new house, from the first one that they started. I guess if they moved to, this was the new house 20 years ago. But that's like you said, 10 people. So if you're thinking and you get scared, well, this is how much this house is going to cost me over 30 years. And you're like, yeah, probably not. Because that's just not the way it works usually here in America. And there's so many different products that are out there. What would you say, like, if you were to, kind of talk about things that are out there that people should look for? I know you do VAs, and you talk about, what are some of the things that you can do for vets. But then there's this thing that people get confused on, is there's conventional versus FHA. And you talked about CHAFA and being an FHA, and then there's conventional. And, some people come to you and say, well, no, I want to have a conventional. No, I want to have an FHA, or, I just want to get into the house. How do you help somebody discern what that looks like?
I hate to say that I keep going back to this, but I just show them the options.
Yeah.
Like even if somebody has typically there's the credit score ranges, because I don't know who's the audience, so I'm just going to dumb it down. So basically, let's say you've got someone that's under a 700 credit score. A lot of times the FHA is probably going to be a better price point, and the interest rate is going to be a lot better. There's a funding fee. And then typically over 700, sometimes a lot of times people think that they need to go conventional. But then there's also what I'm really trying to say right now, I'm going to talk and then you've got debt to income ratio. So basically, if you're really tight on your debt to income ratio, you might have to go FHA. If you're really looking good you can stay conventional. If you got more down, you can go conventional. So all that whole jargon that I literally just said is that there's no stupid question, and I'll just answer. And I feel like that's really the way that I like doing it. Is it's just, I'm not trying to be a closed-fisted, just so people know, I don't get paid more to do an FHA loan. I don't get paid more to do a conventional loan. I get paid the same. And as a lender, brokers can do a little bit more changes, but especially as a lender, I'm pretty locked in at what we're doing. That I feel like for me, it's just, if I have somebody that really has those questions, it's just, we got to walk through those questions, because you're making a big investment for yourself. And I respect the fact that you're taking the time to get a little bit of education and to understand before you sign on that dotted line, what you're getting into.
Well, there's that saying that says people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Yeah. And I can tell, Kobi, you're a person who cares, that you want to get the best thing in the hands of that person that's right for them in their situation. I know I asked you a whole bunch of really just, questions that are part of the industry. What have not we talked about that you really would love the listeners that are watching this today to be able to hear and know about you and from you and about what you guys do?
I appreciate that. I think that really is what you just hit on that last conversation, was that it really is, I want to make this peaceful for you. I want to be your lender for life. I'm not just sitting here trying to be the guy that's like, I do get a lot of online leads and I love building that relationship from scratch. Like, I know I've got probably 6 seconds to determine whether or not they're going to hang up on me. But for me, the second that I can latch on to that, or a lot of people, I just text them and I get the application. Those are the funny ones. And then all of a sudden I show up at closing. I'm like, oh, that was awesome. It's fun. So fun to actually meet you now. But it's just, I feel like that's where I did a talk last week about what to look for in 2025. I think for a lot of people, if you're on the fence about wanting to get into a home, the Fed, who basically helps to create a lot of interest rate stuff, it doesn't look like we're going to make a whole lot of changes this year. There's not a whole lot of positive. There's not a whole lot of negative. It's just kind of flatline. So I think that that's my message to the marketplace right now, is if you want to be ready, let's get ready. Like, a lot of people are trying to you're going to see a lot of movement in May through August is typically what we see because people are out of school. And I feel like if you're wanting to make the changes, you probably need to start looking at it now. Your credit card statements probably aren't going to look good in January. So you're going to have to get that figured out from all the holidays. But the good news is we have tax return season coming up. So we have a huge boost coming with that. And then if you want to make this change, like, you can basically, we can help walk you through so that you are looking as good as you can for your peak buying season, whether that's now or when typically the market is as hot as it can be. We do have programs. I actually do have a really cool calculator that I've made where you can put in all of your information, like based on your jobs and based on your debts, and kind of you can do, instead of having all the mortgage calculators will tell you what the payment is. I actually want to, in the thing, I've actually made it where you can figure out you need to actually talk to me later, but it gives you a rough estimate of what you can afford. And so I really just want to empower people to use this calculator so that way they can figure it out. And then I also do have experiences every 8 weeks. That is a 5-day experience called the Peaceful Purchase Pathway, where we do go through why should you be in a home this year, how to qualify, how to get the 3 legs of the stool figured out. And we're going to be here. We are here when you are ready to be here. And we want to help you go through that journey. We're not going to force you in anything. I am here if you need me tomorrow or in 9 months or 2 years. And I feel like that's what I'm just excited about, is continuing to be that person that can just provide that help, but there's no pressure on our side. Just want to be a resource.
Love it. How can people get a hold of you?
Best way to do that is you can find me on LinkedIn, just Kobi Rex, or Facebook, Kobi Rex Mortgage Loan Officer. You can either just send me a message, or like every Monday I have a market update that you can always tune into. You can always give me a call, 719-287-3228. That's my cell. So you can just give me a call or send me a text. I love voice messaging because that's like my favorite thing. So that's the best way to get a hold of me.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for being on today. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to share with us, what it means to not only be in this market, but to find somebody that can truly help you become a person that owns the home that they want without having to go through the fear and the anxiety and the transaction itself can lead to fear. The transaction itself can lead to anxiety. But to have somebody that's around you that can walk you through, that can take away the unknowns, so that you don't walk into it not knowing, you walk into it knowing, and then you only have the stress of, now I know, am I ready for this? Which I would say you absolutely are, because everybody who possibly can should be able to experience owning a home. And here in Colorado, and I've seen other states, but here in Colorado, they're building apartment after apartment after apartment after apartment in Colorado Springs. I don't know if it's like that, but it is here in Denver. And to me, it seems to be kind of sad, because there's a whole lot of investors that are out there that are making a lot of money, and a whole bunch of folks that would love to own and be able to start that generational wealth or that family wealth, or be able to take advantage of home ownership and all the things of it, are not seeing that it's possible, because they're seeing, all these dangling, shiny lights that are saying, okay, apartment, apartment, apartment. well, and then they'll tell you things like, well, in our apartment, if your water heater goes out, you don't have to pay for it. But if you own a home, your water heater goes out, you got to pay for it. And like, oh, you're not charging me for that water heater in my rent? Yes, you are. It's just I don't have to pay for it right now. So you guys, I appreciate again, Kobi, you coming on. For those of you who watch this, go ahead and hit subscribe and all those wonderful things. And if you get stuff out, watch some of these episodes. Get as much out of it because there are people who care that want to help you become that homeowner that you want to become. And so we'll look forward to talking to you on the next one. You guys have an amazing, awesome, just incredible day. We'll talk to you later. Don't go away, Kobi. Oh.
This is Brian Arnold, and if you are listening to this part, you've just watched one of our episodes of the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight, where we've just talked to one of the best of the best. And I want to thank whichever guest that was here. They are phenomenal. They are amazing. They are the top of the top, the best of the best that are in our industry that are here with us today. And so I encourage you to please call them, pick their brains. They work for you. They enjoy working for you. They are incredibly good at it. And so I want to make sure that you give them a call. So whoever you listen to, whichever one you saw that you were there, please do that. The other thing is everyone deserves a home. Everyone deserves a home. I say that at the end of my show. You deserve it. Let us help you do it. My goal is to make sure that we see homeownership. It just sickens me to see apartment complexes continue to go up because I know those are people who haven't been able to make the call or figure out a plan. So let us help put that plan together for you. I have some websites that allow you to do that, and I'll put those in the bottom, but please do. I am a lender. I do work in the lending space. If you do not already have somebody who's pre-qualified you, I would love to be able to have that opportunity to earn your business and qualify you. My number is 720-682-2223. That's 720-682-2223. Give me a call anytime, and I would love to be able to help you with that. We also do living trust. And so when we think about an estate to try to avoid probate and make sure that doesn't happen. So whether it's you, if you own a home, and you should have a living trust. And I will say that everyone not just deserves it, everyone needs a living trust if they own a home. And then finally, just wanted to thank you for watching these episodes. And so please tune into more. Would love for you to see and be able to shop around. So thank you for doing that. Again, I want to make sure that you know that you can do this. You deserve this. And let us help you make it happen. You guys have an awesome, wonderful, awestruck, incredible day today.